Kiv and Harris had been working together a long time, a very long time. Nothing frontline, nothing too bad, usually just hauling for the ADF here and there. They worked well together and had actually blossomed into a friendship. They knew each other's wives. In fact, Harris had been the best man at Kiv's wedding. In any case, they were tasked with a rather important mission of pulling the Missionary 1 off of Axiom, because it was unflyable, and into space and back to the Hearth Collective. A run-of-the-mill mission for them. The only challenging part was the snowstorm that they had to contend with, getting it off the planet, but that wasn't too hard. Especially with the Dead Seas neutralized, they didn't have to worry about being raided or attacked, which was a rarity for Harris and Kev. As they flew through space towards the Hearth Collective, Gareth, a communicator that he kept in his right pocket, a communicator that was not ADF, went off. He kind of looked at it, confused. It's not a communicator that normally goes off in places like this. Kiv looked at him and smiled. Seriously, you're not supposed to work in your private communicators while we're on duty. You know the ordinance, especially when we're working for Taya Volk. She could take your job. He didn't respond. He was very unhappy with what he saw when he pulled that communicator and looked at it. He frowned. He was not going to have a good day. He turned to Kiv and went, Kiv, I just want you to know, it's been a pleasure working with you. Kiv kind of looked at him and goes, well, you too, bud. He's cut off abruptly by Harris's knife that he unsheaths and drives deep into Kiv's neck, then pulls it out and drives it again into his chest. 2 quick stabs that drained him of blood and stopped his heart. Kiv gargled there for a second while Harris took control and then began the jump process. Not back to the Hearth Collective, to somewhere else. He had been instructed to take the Missionary 1. He had been tapped by his true masters, the Echelon at the end, to take the Missionary 1 where he was supposed to go. However, as he hit the launch button, as he hit the space, another thing hit him like a ton of bricks. And Harris ceased to be Harris. Hey, welcome back. That was our cold open. Welcome. We are back with Astral Drive, episode 17. Sorry for last week, everybody, but I got possessed with laryngitis, and it's pretty impossible to game master if you can't talk. So I had to call that session, and due to scheduling, we just had to cancel. But we're back. Astral Drive goes nowhere, and by we, let's go through the players. Above me is Aether Dios playing Gerald Abrego.
Good evening.
In the middle, our Buildmaster General, Philbilly330.
What's up, guys?
He's playing Mellis Stonehand. I forgot to say that. And then, finally, last but certainly not least, our unofficial TTRPG partner, Wizard's Respite Ash, is playing Alfred White Castle.
Howdy, folks.
Hello. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Well,
Scared, as
back.
always.
Yeah, you know.
Excited for more political intrigue. So we, just to recap, Gerald Abrego finally ended his time with his orc patron, only to find out that orc patron was in fact Mal Garak, the assumed dead father of Nellis Stonehand and Gull Draxon, who had just been hiding out on the side of the mountain. Nonetheless, Gerald Abrego didn't know any better about that, because he was not privy to any of those expo drops, being that he, got stabbed with a machete a lot. So he met the mysterious V, why can I never remember their name? What is the cat race called?
You just said lioness.
Yeah, she looked like a lioness, but she actually, yes, the Mbube. She was an Mbube, a lioness woman. You failed your knowledge roll, so you didn't find out that, like, you didn't realize that she's an Mbube because you're not from this planet. So I just called her a lioness to describe her, basically. Yeah. But they kind of look like lionesses. Yeah, like humanoid lioness V, who was hiding out here, kind of transporting goods and services back and forth to different hermits who lived clanless in the very scary Alps. Gerald also made another friend, and that is the friend of a direwolf who also decided to accompany him back to civilization. On the other side of things, Nella Stonehand and Alfred Whitecastle had a, I guess, epic verbal confrontation with Taya Volk. She managed to solve the issue for the time being between Milo and Nellis, who are just bound and determined to murder each other. She basically told them that Gerald is dead, that Kelly was the bad one, that we also know that Rex got fired. He got fired from the ADF and looks pretty messed up about it. Hob is back. Hob survived. He's okay. And we also found out that Taya definitely knows that Alfred Whitecastle is a vampire. They had their back and forth tete-a-tete, where she found out that Alfred Whitecastle actually is trying to do this mission to get all the vampires to safety, to remove them from this galaxy, which has kind of put Taya Valk in a weird spot. She also had kind of a weird heart-to-heart with Nellis and gave him a bit of loot. He got an arcane revolver, which I did give you scores for that last time, I'm hoping, so I don't have to do that now. And yeah, that's where we were. Did I miss any pertinent pieces of information, guys?
I don't know if this will play in, but I know Alfred was trying to push her into working with him to uncover the echelon of the inn. Yes.
Alfred is also the only one who knows for certain that Gerald Abrego is alive thanks to your god-awful power of deduction. So we're going to actually start off with Gerald Abrego. And we need to switch. So, Gerald, you're heading down the mountain with V. It is going to be quite a walk before you can get to any sort of civilization that will allow you to contact anybody, because they're pretty primitive up in the Northlands of Axiom. So you guys are headed down. The first day, there's no real time for chatter because that snowstorm kind of comes back through, kind of down the mountain a little bit and catches you guys, and it's a rough, nasty walk down this mountain. Plus, Malgarak is pretty high up the mountain. One of the few things that V is able to say to you is that he is probably the highest of all the hermits. He's the hardest to get to. He has positioned himself in a way that it is very hard for people to find him and or get to him. So, yeah. So it's just as hard to get down the mountain as it is up. So through the day, you kind of work down it, and finally she points at a cave that she tends to use to. She looks at you kind of through the snow and goes, "I use that one every time coming down to sleep for the first day. Next day we should be able to make. Excuse me, everybody. Tomorrow we should be able to make Snake Clan. From there, you should be able to find your way to civilization."
Oh, thank you. It's amazing for anyone to live so far up here.
She's like, "It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Honestly, not even just so far up here on this side of the rock face. The steps aren't so bad because they're up high, but they're on the flat part of the land, and even the Dead Seas are carved into a mountain. But that crazy orc bastard basically lives on the side of a sheer rock face. It's ridiculous." And then she kind of leads you into the cave. You kind of hunker down. It's surprisingly protected from the weather in this cave, and it's not even really like a deep cave, so you don't have to worry about like animals deep in or anything. It's almost more like I want to say like a 7 or 8 foot kind of chunk that's just taken out of the side of the mountain that makes a good little alcove. And you can even see the remnants of where she seems to always start her fire, like a little campfire that's been burned out before. Sure enough, she pulls out of her pack some wood that she probably carried with her from Malgarax, drops it into the center, and goes about the business of lighting it.
He's actually not taking notes per se, but following along.
Okay. She looks at the direwolf and kind of grins and goes, "He must have been pissed to give that one up."
Oh yes. Thought I wasn't supposed to talk to them, but they listened very well. This one is Ishol.
Is what?
It's a little. It's sort of funny. It's in my people. It's very cold.
This is like, yes, it's very cool. I'm sorry. What was the name of the wolf? What did you say? I didn't quite catch that.
Ishol.
Ishol. Okay. Gotcha.
They're this one's very thoughtful. But this is also my extended life debt. I will care for this more than myself.
She kind of grins and goes, "Are you planning on taking it back with you to Genesis?"
I don't know if I've thought too much of when I would be back to Genesis. It's a very long mission.
She kind of looks at you. She's like, "Look, I don't know who you are. You haven't even... Did you ever tell her the name? I know I listened to the episode, but I can't remember. I don't think you've even told her your name."
Nope.
She goes, "I don't even know your name, but what I do know of you is that you're a tax man. And while you seem to have picked up some skills out here, you definitely didn't start here. So I feel like there are people waiting for you at Genesis, and I certainly feel like whatever mission you were a part of," and then she points at the giant gash that is now a scar on your shoulder, "is not a mission anymore."
I like to think that I'm wearing totally different clothing at this point.
Oh, okay. Right,
yes.
fair.
She already was told about
The machete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is we all have very difficult lives, and things we all must do. I would much rather be here, I think, but I have to finish what I've started.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're a tax man, and I come from a place where taxmen are, without a doubt, the most important people. She sees you look at confusion and goes, "The Raji theocracy." At that point, give me a merchant roll. Yeah, merchant. We're gonna say merchant and perception. Difficulty 10.
Merchant perception. Okay. 24.
Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, so the Raji theocracy is one of the smaller countries that make up Axiom. Axiom is still a very segregated kind of like, well, segregated isn't the right word. There's still countries on the planet of Axiom. One of those countries is the theocracy. The theocracy actually started as like a very mercantile, like very money hungry sort of people, to the point where like their religion, the theocracy that they're talking about, actually like centers around financial wealth and gaining money. Not in the way that a Ferengi would, but like much more like in that vein. So you're very aware of them because the minute that space travel happened, the Raji theocracy was all over the place. So you're not exactly sure that you remember specifically like what their religion is. You know that they worship somebody called like Kiva, and Kiva was one of the godchildren from the whole Axiom lore. You're not exactly super familiar with it. And it's not, like I said, it's not as blatant money hungry as even your religion is, but yeah, they were all over. They have a mercantile guild. Like the Raji theocracy is run by two factions. One of them's the church, and one of them's the merchants guild. Like that's how the country is run. So like they're all about financial wealth and getting trade and everything like that.
I respect that.
Interestingly enough, actually, the desert / more arid areas of Axiom, like mini Genesis on Axiom, basically.
Oh, well, of course. I had no idea you were with the theocracy. This is also quite far for you.
She actually kind of scowls at you and goes, "I'm not with them. I'm from there, not with them. I understand how they work. I understand what they did to my people, what they did to us. Understand it enough that I fought back. And that is why I live on the side of a snow mountain, bringing meats and pelts back and forth to angry cuss orcs all day long. Because I took a shot and missed."
Oh, we don't talk about that time anymore. We're all with the church now.
She goes, she kind of looks at you, and she looks confused. Like, she knew enough to know that you're from Genesis, but you could tell she really does not understand the history of your people or who you are or where you're from. The word tax, like he referred to you as a taxman. There's taxmen in Raji. That's who she's thinking of.
It presumably it would translate essentially.
Yeah.
Equivalent, but yeah,
Right.
no, the details, and that's also
she doesn't even know that
Gerald is going to be this upfront, other than his massive amounts of recent trauma.
Yeah. So she kind of just looks at you, and kind of confused, and she's like, "I'm sorry. Look, I'm pretty ignorant to things not of Axiom. I mean, I'm aware of you and I'm aware of your people, but you know, most of my life has been lived in one squalid hut to the other, and while I've picked up a certain amount of skills for survival, universe galaxy-like knowledge did not come with that."
Oh, that's. I don't think you've missed too much. You could say that. I too find myself on a very cold mountain with orcs. For because of things that have happened a long time ago.
Things that happened a long time ago to you? You look kind of young.
Oh, we have long memories. I listened to the stories. I'm not supposed to.
Well, that's fair. All right, we're gonna cut over to Alfred. Alfred, you guys get a good night's sleep after your conversation with Taya Volk as you guys are heading back to the Hearth Collective ships. You, however, are woken up early morning, Alfred, by a ring at your door, like just a notification, like beep boo.
Is that like a doorbell? Or
Yeah, it's like a doorbell, basically.
Okay.
I don't want to call it a doorbell because in Star Trek they always have the ooh every time somebody's at the door, but they never call it a doorbell. Like it's something. I don't know what it's called though.
A good morning chime at the door.
the space door notification modulator lets you know that somebody's there.
Okay. I'll get up and go to the door, maybe put on my robe or something like that. But on my way over there...
I love it's a robe.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
a nice glass
Alfred
of
wears a robe.
Shanty or something, like Chianti. Hello. Welcome to the White Castle abode.
Yeah, no, he has a very Hugh Hefner robe on with a little scarf and everything, without a doubt. He's a gentleman.
It's a fucking vampire.
He's gonna bring his.
Of course he is.
Yeah. He's gonna bring his sword over and prop it up right next to the door, though.
I was like, please strap the sword over the robe. Just make my day. That's an ensemble right there.
I think he doesn't want to come off. He doesn't present poorly, I guess.
Right.
So he'll set it next to the door for now and open the door.
You open the door, looking right at a chest, and end up looking up because it's Taya Volk sitting there, staring down at you. May I come in?
Please do.
She walks in. Ferris starts to follow her in, and then she puts up her finger. And then he stops and looks at her, then looks at you, then looks back at her. And she goes, I will be fine. And then he goes, of course. And then steps back, door shuts behind him. So it is just you and her in your room. It's just a small, this is kind of like a transport ship. She doesn't have you on, a mothership or anything. So, it's just, a small, it's like an efficiency apartment without a kitchen, basically. You've got a bathroom, you've got a bed, you got, a table and a chair and a desk. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah. Like a hotel room almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Setting up the romance scene.
Yes! There we go.
I look up at her with my smoldering eyes.
She's like, would you like me to bend over for you? And you're like, no. And just start climbing up the side of her. I like it. I like a challenge. All right. All right, grossness aside, she looks right at you and goes, I have given your words a lot of thought. What you told me.
I appreciate that.
I do believe we can work together.
I believe it will be in both of our best interests to do so.
Yes. However, something terrible has happened, and that's why I'm coming to you to tell you about it first.
He takes a deep breath and is just like, why does this not surprise me? What has occurred?
The Missionary One was hijacked.
Hijacked?
Yes.
How long ago?
30 minutes. I came right here. Ferris got me, and then I came to speak with you because I've made some decisions about our future relationship together.
All right.
I hate that you made that because now everything I say sounds like they're about to do it. Everything I say. just has that giggle effect now. I'm sorry. Say that again, Wiz.
What decisions have you come to?
She goes, we can work together. I want the vampires out of the system. You want to take the vampires out of the system. I believe that is in the ADF's best interest. I believe it's in your best interest. So, here's what I propose. You work for me undercover within the Hearth Collective. You help me, and I will assure that you and your kin get out of Hearth. Not only can I assure that, but I can assure that the ADF will provide an escort to you and your people when it is time for you to go. In other words, we will back you against the Archipelago and the Hearth Collective if need be. I mean, I don't know who you are working for, and I don't know if they have a contingency plan for a mass exodus of vampires, but your people, wherever they're hiding, are going to have to move. I can aid with that.
I'm gonna use a deduction. This is way too important to do anything but a deduction.
Okay.
Is she lying?
Okay, so you're using a deduction or a cold read? Because cold read's for just lying.
You're right.
Like, if
You're right,
you want
cold
to
read.
use up a deduction on that, that's fine with me. Because I hate that power.
You're right.
But
Cold read.
she's not lying. She's upfront. You have to work for her. You don't know what she's going to require you to do, though. But you definitely feel that if you agree to this and you do everything she says to do, she will have your back when the time comes. Like, this will be an ally. However, again, Taya has already ordered somebody to kill you, and she is a ruthless person. So, you're not exactly sure what she's going to ask you to do at any point in time. So if you get into bed with her, you have to be aware of what the consequences are going to be.
I know what music track you need to put on now.
I do.
Consequences
This
are
is
very
the
important
best
when
romance
considering.
in online gaming ever. Alfred Whitecastle and Taya Volk. I'm all for it now.
Are we shipping them?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Exactly how much taller?
She's huge, dude.
Yeah,
they're
right.
huge.
Like she's like heads and shoulders above me,
I
right?
want to say they're like 8.5 feet tall. Like, ogres are huge. They're massive
Yeah.
creatures. They're the biggest. They're the biggest race in Astral Drive, hands down. I believe. I think they're even taller than Armas. Like, they are the tallest, if I recall correctly.
Ooh, tall glass of water. All right.
You're like a pool I want to swim in for hours.
I wasn't expecting it laughing this
on.
hard this early on.
Yeah, I was
in
about
the
to
game.
say,
I was
we're gonna
expecting
get
it,
we're gonna get blasted by you. The algorithm's gonna start coming after us.
I know. Okay. Keep it PG, guys. Keep it PG.
Yeah. It's turning into Balor's Gate 3 in here, man. I'm telling you what.
Okay. I would say to her, I can see the wisdom in accepting your offer, but of course, whatever assignments aid you ask of me out here can't get in the way of my people's mission.
I understand that fully. I understand that you have a goal, and like you said before, I believe our goals align. That being said, I hope that I've pegged you right in the fact that you're somebody as ruthless as I am and willing to do what it takes. Because aside from protecting your people, if I ask you to do something, I need your word that you're willing to do it for me and me alone. I need your loyalty on this. What I am offering you could potentially cause war between my people and the rest of this system. So I need your complete 100% loyalty, or I can't agree to it.
As long as my loyalty does not come before my people, which it does not sound as though it will, and I mean my people at large, then you have it. This will include... My people would also include my crew, as long as they are not also becoming objects to the goal of my kind leaving the system and surviving.
She chuckles at you. Your crew? You don't have a ship yet, but that's fine. I would never ask you to do anything against Nullus anyway.
Right. Just know this.
Yeah, that's the only one she qualifies. She does not even consider Abrego or Hob or any of the other ones. She just goes, I'd never ask you to do anything against Nullus. She then looks at you and extends her very large hand. Welcome to the ADF, Alfred Whitecastle.
I will shake her hand and offer a slightly lupine grin.
She then tells you that you're officially deep cover, you're in the system, but in order to, nobody technically knows that. So if any ADF picks you up, or you need asylum from any ADF members or anything like that, you need to give them a code word. And you need to basically say to them, command access.
Okay.
She says, command access lazy coffin. She's like, and she gives you a grin when she says lazy coffin. That's your code word. If you say that to any ADF official and you say command access, they will have to run that code word through the system and you will come up an official ADF member. And the orders in the system are instructed to take you directly to me. Again,
Understood.
If you don't give an ADF member that command access code, they will not consider you one of theirs. And they will kill you.
Gave you a safe word.
That is exactly right. The safe word is banana. So she goes, now I'm going to tell you what I need you to do.
All right.
I have intel, which I am going to hand over to the Hearth Collective, that the Missionary 1 has been taken to Genesis. I have it on good authority based on we were able to get to the hyperspace jump point and triangulate their jump. So I have it on good authority that that's where they were headed. That being said, I want that ship, Alfred. And I think you know that I've always wanted that ship. The people who are responsible for that ship are on Genesis. And I am positive, as captain of that ship, you're going to be ordered to go down to Genesis and look into its disappearance. While you're there, I want you to convince... Tobias Pelton, the head of the... What's the church? What's your church, Gerald? Which saint is it?
Matthias?
Thank you. Tobias Pelton, the head of the Church of Matthias, to give us that ship instead of the Hearth Collective. Or at the very least, make us part of the joint task force. With that being done, I can at least get some personnel on there who can find out how to get that technology here. The Hearth Collective, and hell, Genesis shouldn't even have that technology to themselves.
this is a challenging mission, but not outside of the scope of my skills. Though I will, I'm sure your intel has uh, already informed you the nature of the Church of Matthias. I've gotten to know Abrego, and they are monetarily motivated.
Yes, well, I will have a hard time outspending the Hearth Collective, but maybe there is something else that they want that you can give them. See if you can't figure out what that is. Other than that, she also gives you a small communication device. Looks kind of like a cell phone or a communicator. It's unmarked. She goes, "That's a direct line to me. Don't use it in front of anybody else, though. Don't compromise our relationship."
Does it have a limited range of any sort?
If you call it and I am out of range, it will basically send a message. It'll send a relay message through space to me. So even if you don't get me, leave a message basically, and I will get it.
Excellent. One last question. How widespread is the knowledge of my history among your people?
I have the broad strokes. I think I probably have more than the average Axiom citizen. That being said, I didn't become the head of the ADF without knowing how to spin things. And it would be very easy to make your people look like the hunted, the downtrodden, the underdogs.
I think that this can work. I think we can do this. That ship was designed to leave the Hearth Collective in search for a location in which we could potentially find new civilizations, new worlds to and my goals inhabit. I think that it's definitely within our joint interests for me to obtain it. However, you are already aware of the particular nature, of course, restricting flight on that ship, correct?
Yes.
Gerald Abrego?
Yes, I am. But let's face it, the people who put that technology in are going to have to reverse it now. Because your friend is dead. They're going to have to figure out a way to replace that. Remember, you're the only one who knows it. She wasn't lying about that. She truly believes the dude is dead.
Yeah, I know. Do you believe that it was Genesis trying to recover that ship?
No. Personally, I've read all the reports. I've talked to all the trackers. I talked to Rex at nauseum. I believe the end of the echelon of the end was trying to kidnap him, and it ended terribly. What they could possibly want with Abrego, the only thing I can think of is the end wanted the ship, and they somehow figured out that Gerald was the key. I'm assuming through Kelly, since we now know that she was the betrayer, and they were trying to take him for that reason.
And we have no idea as to why they would want this ship or their motivations whatsoever.
I am a woman of many secrets, Alfred. I know you know that. But I was not lying back on the Risen when I said we don't know anything about the end. We know very little about them. Because this room is not bugged, and because it is just you and I, and to show you trust, I will tell you one of my deepest secrets. And that is, I truly fear the echelon of the end. No one has ever infiltrated me or my organization in the way that they have. I don't know how this is possible. And I want to know how this is possible, and at the very least, destroy this cancer at its heart. But every day I seem to know less about them when my entire business, my entire livelihood is knowledge.
Well, assuming that you are correct, and they did take the missionary one, we do know that they want a ship that can leave the system. That's at least a starting point, a point where we can begin to build upon.
Yes.
Now, I understand that your intel has brought you information regarding Abrego's death, but I have reason to believe that he may still be alive. I know it seems outlandish, but humor me for a moment. If he were alive and we were able to retrieve him, he could be the key to retrieving that ship. A goal both you and I want for our mutual interests. I would say it's at very least worth looking into.
She looks at you for a long second, and she goes, Ferris, come in here. Ferris opens the door, kind of looks at you both, almost as if, like, should I come in? What was going on in here? Taya just, like, rolls her eyes at him, and then goes, I want you to send a search party to the, what is it, the Snake Clan, the River Clan? The two clans at the base of the mountain, specifically ADF men. Is Milo still on planet? She goes, yeah. He goes, yes, madam. He was unable to get Guldraxin. However, he took down a number of his generals, and the Dead Seas are, for the most part, thwarted and destroyed. She goes, well, take the good with the bad, I suppose, but I am not worried about one angry orc with a nasty-looking axe hiding in a mountain from us. His army is defeated. His power is gone. But if, she looks back at you, if Gerald Abrego survived, he couldn't go back up that mountain. There's just no way. Maybe on the off chance he made it down the mountain, that's where he would have to go to live. Anything else, and he would die of exposure if he didn't die already. So she looks back. Ferris goes, all right, we still have plenty of troops in the area of the Dead Seas. They can take a ship down and look for him. She looks back at you and goes, satisfactory?
Yes, thank you.
Of course. And then she just goes, I think this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful friendship, which... That's not a prophecy of terrible things. And then she leaves. Nellis, you get a good night's sleep, man. You're tired. Even though you don't want to go to sleep, you got a brain full of fucking mush. You end up going to sleep because you're just exhausted. Like, your character hasn't really slept in a day. He's just been emotionally and physically drained from fights and drama, so he ends up just going into his room, trying to think about things and passing out. Like, you pass out not even under the covers, just still in your clothes and your uniform from the day before. So you wake up, what do you do?
You know that book that I was given by
Yes.
Thaddeus?
Yeah.
Is it? I'm assuming it's early when I wake up.
Yeah. Since you didn't sleep in a particularly comfortable position, so yeah, it's pretty early.
If you remember, last time when I tried to read the book, I couldn't understand it.
Yes.
So I think to myself, I grab the book and I pause for a minute and I try to see if I can put anything together with the knowledge that I've learned.
I like that. I like that. What skills do you want to use for this?
I mean,
You got spellcraft, right?
oh yeah,
I
I'm
feel like
decent
that's.
at that.
I
Yeah.
feel like that is reasonable in this position. So why don't you do spellcraft and intelligence? And I think last time I gave you a difficulty of like 15. So we're gonna lower the difficulty down to 10 because you definitely have had more experience now.
I got an 18 total.
Nice. This time you're able to gather some things from the book. You do manage to steal yourself. Maybe it's the sleep. Maybe it's the fact that you have gotten some answers. Like, not all of them, but at least some of them. And you realize real quick that this book was kind of like Thaddeus's way of trying to protect you when he couldn't. And the big passage that jumps out to you is basically one of the things, like once you start to kind of get their language and how they speak to each other, how they write, it's in common, but it's just, it's a different planet, it's a different kind of feel of things, and that's what was kind of holding you up before. But once you start to get it, you realize that basically with the demon touched, what happens is the more that the person is aware that they're demon touched, the more the demon has control over the person. So it's almost like one of those things where, like, if you don't know it's there, it won't wake up, but the more you know it's there, the more it wakes up. So it kind of, there is kind of a moment of realization for Nellis where he realizes that Thaddeus couldn't really talk to you about it, because if he talked to you about it, the demon would take over. And while everybody was saying it's the blood of Vulgar, it's still a demon, and he doesn't want you to be controlled by a demon. So he could never really tell you the secrets, because if he told you the secrets, then the demon might get more control over you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, which I'm sure it has more than it did already.
Yes. And it definitely has. You've already talked to him way more. The other thing that you're realizing from this book, that Vulgar is very different from most demon touches, from most who are demon touched. Demon touched are very, very, they're demons. They're demons from the astral plane. Like, that's the things that are usually, like, getting repackaged in because they don't want to give up. They don't give up. The seraphim from the astral plane very rarely end up in, like, new spirits, new souls, because they don't really possess people. They very rarely do it. In fact, there's only a few documented cases, most of them on Axiom, with the children of Axiom. One of them is Vulgar. Vulgar is a seraphim. He is still a scary, scary, scary fucking orc seraphim, but he's a seraphim. So, while he is violent, while he is prone to destruction, he is much more controllable than other demon touch. Actually, as you read this book, you kind of realize that you're a little bit lucky, because you're getting a little bit of the powers with, you're getting as much of the powers with a little bit less of the backlash. Vulgar has been much more manageable for you than the documented cases in this book are.
Okay. All right.
And that's what you glean from this session of reading. There is more. You could definitely take a look at this book another time and try and glean some more from it, but...
Yeah. Okay. The next thing I would want to, I compose myself, and I want to go find White Castle.
Okay. All right. White Castle, what were you doing after your conversation? Just getting dressed?
Yeah. Just getting
Okay.
dressed, getting ready for the day.
Man, do you want to robe up for Nellis too? I'm assuming you want to put some pants on.
Yeah, I would throw on, like more leisurely clothes.
Okay.
Just a t-shirt and my jeans.
I want it. I'm in my uniform. It's pressed. That's the first thing I do is I press my uniform.
You're coming out of your room, Alfred, as you see Nellis walking down the hallway towards you.
I'll go up to Nellis and sort of nod to him.
Hey, Alfred, we need to talk. I'm sure you know that.
I would agree. Come into my quarters. I'll invite him in.
I walk
Alright.
in the door, I'm like, it smells like sex in here.
Welcome to Alfred Whitecastle's Fuck Palace. Yes. Oh man.
Oh, I'm gonna have to hit this on Midjourney and figure out how to like make a giant hot ogre. I don't even.
This is
I'm
making
sure
my day.
you can find that on the internet.
Yeah, somewhere.
We've talked about it too much. There's no way I'm not going to double down on this in the future. There's just no way. Just prepare for it now.
Tension every time she's ready.
It's a real Ross and Rachel will they, won't they?
If Ross and Rachel were both psychopaths and willing to like kill anybody in their path.
Genocidal psychopaths. Friends, the Genocidal Psychopath Edition. This has been the zaniest episode of Astral Drive ever. I think.
Yeah, it really has.
All right.
This is the game I fear every walking into it every like time we get. I'm like, I'm gonna die. Now it's just like, I'm in love.
I'm in love.
You're gonna die.
I'm gonna die.
The body is weak and squishy. Okay.
Alright, so I walk in and shut the door behind me. Like, we're good to talk here?
I believe so. I've been informed that this room hasn't been bugged, though I would remain somewhat suspect of anything at this point.
Yeah, my whole life seems to be the suspect at this point, which is part of why I wanted to speak to you. After what we've been through, I think we both owe each other some answers. Or some answers as to what the fuck's going on, and I'll break the ice here. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out one of those 5 white ether, I think it was called, capsules.
The ones that
block magic. And
the anti-magic.
I hand one of these capsules to Alfred, and I'm like, all right, Alfred, I have the feeling that we're stuck together for the foreseeable future. And I've never used one of these, but it's been explained to me its effects, and all I can say is if at any point it seems that I am not myself and have lost control, can't exactly explain, but if I'm unable to administer this myself and you're around, I need to be able to rely on you to do so.
This isn't poison, is it?
No, it ain't gonna kill me, but how much do you know about the magics and the possessions of this system we live in?
I very Magic is not my forte. I've been friends with Thaddeus for some time now, and he's informed me of some of it, but to be frank with you, I find it to be rather confusing and a little silly.
Well, it's anything but silly, Alfred. But I'm apparently what people refer to as some sort of demon touched. And with that comes my nose magic, as you like to call it. And I kind of like scowl at that, but I'm like, with that power comes a risk of losing control. And from what I understand, this capsule will end the ties for a time from the source that can potentially take over.
Alfred is gonna take a deep breath and he's gonna realize that you basically just gave him a tool to eliminate your magic, like
Yep.
a pretty good chunk of your power.
Yeah, it's a show of trust too. Like I think that would come across from your conversation with Nullis so far.
Yeah, Ash definitely is picking up on that, and Alfred's way smarter than Ash is, so he's definitely gonna pick up on that, I think. So yeah, he's gonna look at you and say that I understand your need and what this means to you. Have a seat. I think I appreciate you giving this to me. And I can promise you that if it needs to be done, if you need help, I'll be there.
Well,
Ellis, I told you a little about my upbringing. My family was an aristocratic family, and because of politics, things fell apart. Where I come from, my family was essentially upheaved and destroyed. We have a tradition. My family, those from where I come from, it's something that I've never actually done until taking command of the missionary. We can, on occasion, claim a group or a people or a land. It becomes part of our house. It's a very old tradition that hasn't been practiced in some time, at least not that I know of. But when I took on the missionary and I told all of you you were my crew, I claimed you all as my people, my house. We are not a very warm people where I come from, but that is about as close as you can get to saying that our bonds are greater than simply being allies. Does this make sense?
it does. So, I just have handed you the nuke button to myself, so let's cut to it, Alfred. I know there's some shit about you. I've known it since the damn day I met you. You're too damn smart, too damn fast, and too damn strong. What's going on, man?
Ooh. You're part of my house as I have claimed it until you have said otherwise. as such, I feel that I'm willing to trust that I can communicate with you. I can tell you the truth. This is not a truth that I have shared with anybody that didn't already know it in all of my life. Can I trust that you will respect this?
Of course. I'm nothing but a man of my word.
I'll sit back in my seat and I will make my eyes turn red and say, I've been traveling through our system for a very, very, very long time. And it's time for me and my people to leave the Hearth system to find a new home. That's why I'm here.
What the fuck are you? Are you demon touch too? What the fuck?
Alfred's going to sort of smile and be like, no. Although we've been called demon and much worse, I am a vampire.
Shit, those are real? I mean, I heard the stories and the whole theory on how Genesis was populated and all that, but fuck, I thought that was just folktale.
I'm sure that there are some stories that are folktale and some are real.
Aren't you all supposed to be like the baddest motherfuckers in the galaxy or some shit?
We have a great deal of potential, but we are also hunted, and our numbers dwindle. Those of us that remain wish to leave.
Okay. Wait, so ain't there some ties between? I mean, the tales I heard that gargoyle folk, Volker that I killed, don't those have ties to your people as well? Do you know him? Did you know him? Because you gotta be what, 3 million years old or some shit?
A little bit too much, a little high.
I'm not that old.
Did you play with the motherfucking dinosaurs?
I was young at the end of. I was born towards the end of my people's authority in the galaxy. My family was dispersed or destroyed entirely. I've spent most of my life alone as a result of it. And as far as knowing Volkner, no. Like I said, I spent most of my life on the run. I had not any ties particularly with him or very few other of my kind or the gargoyle. I will say this though. You're right, the gargoyles were involved with the vampires. Which I do not believe the vampires are currently involved with the echelon, are directly involved with the echelon of the end. My goals now are to get my people out of this system. So I can't imagine too many of us would be working with the echelon unless there's a fracture of which I don't know of, a splinter group. We're not a trustful people, so there's not a lot of communication between us. But Volker and the gargoyles or other gargoyles are involved with this group. They fared better than the vampires, but there's a lot of resentment for them working with us in the archipelago.
I'll tell you, Alfred, that's good news, because Pickles would be fucking pissed if he found out you were buddies with that fucking vampire, or that gargoyle. I'll tell you, when he finds out about this, he'll be relieved. I can't talk to Pickles about it. I mean, come on, I got to. He's my boy. He'll keep a secret, though.
I suppose that you can talk to your pet raptor, who is incapable of communicating with others in that manner.
He's a vampire.
Communicates with me just fine. But
why does this raptor keep howling in a way that it sounds like he's saying he's a vampire and then butting Alfred with his nose repeatedly? I don't understand.
But wait, that got me thinking too. You're that fucking old. Is your name even Alfred? 'Cause, dude, I found out my name ain't fucking Nullis.
We gotta cut away to Brian. You guys can play forever. I got to. This has been really too good to walk away from, but I gotta cut away to Brian. Brian, you get a cold night's sleep that you're getting very used to. Though it is wearing on you a little bit, you kind of long for the sun and just not to be sleeping in snow anymore. But you sleep and you wake up being licked on the face by your dire wolf. V is cooking up some scraps, nothing big, just some simple like ration style meat to get you through to midday. She hands you one.
This might actually not be enough for the dire wolf.
She kind of looks at you and then looks at the dire wolf and goes, all right. And then she goes into her backpack, pulls out like just this container that she's got some salted meats, and throws it to the dire wolf, who eats it hungrily. She's like, happy now?
Yes, and thank you. I was going to offer to add to our food supply.
It's all right. I want to get you down the side of the mountain and off of here anyway. I don't particularly enjoy the cold of this mountain.
No, it's... I am... It's becoming normal, but I don't think I will ever really be able to stay here very long.
She's like, yeah, surprisingly you get used to it, no matter where you're from. All right, let's head out. You guys start to walk, and the snowstorm's completely passed. It's a little bit sunnier. Your welcomed sun hits you. Plus, the goings have gotten a lot easier since you guys are towards the base of the mountain now. So it's it's much more footpaths and walkable terrain. So you can chit chat with her if you want, or if you want to walk in silence, it's up to you.
No, Gerald's starting to open up a little bit after, all the trauma and trying to adapt to not talking.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I've gotten used to not saying much. I appreciate this. It's hard being so far away. Do you get to see the other side of the very often anymore?
You can see there's some sorrow in her face. She's like, we're really gonna talk about this? No, I can't go back to my homeland. If I do, I will be tried and executed for treason.
Yeah, that seems, for such a large planet, that seems to happen very often.
Tell me about it. I come from the Mbube people. We were one of the races of the Izwi Nation. Unfortunately, the Izwi Nation went through some hard times. A dictator took over named Abdullah. Oh man, Abdullah Kawa. Abdullah Kawa ruled through his entire life, but eventually died. And then there was infighting, clan fighting. My nation became weak, fed on itself. That was hundreds of years ago. When the theocracy, our neighbor, decided to seize the opportunity and absorb us and our land, promising that their great Kiva, their great god Kiva, will give us the stability we needed, and completely forgetting our ways, our people's customs and cultures, just rolling over it as if it never existed. You can tell she's very sad about this. She goes, a lot of things got rolled over. Some things were too important to me to let go, so I don't know. At some point I decided I would try and bring our cultures back, try and fight back, and, well, like I said, I took a shot and I missed.
That's very difficult. The it seems like is it the deal that was worked out was not favorable. That's our so from my people, the only very recently did we really become part of the church. Just before my time. I'm told that the Solstny would tell stories of the old ways before the pilgrims, but they cured us, she says, and so we all kind of joined with the church. So we don't talk about any of the old ways anymore. We have little things. They're very. It's been good. We understand the. It's a. You know, Matthias teaches us that there's always trade, and it was supposed to be good for us.
She kind of scowls at you a little bit. She goes, so you really believe in their religion? Completely forsaking your old ways?
I don't know the old ways. They have little thing, and he checks his pockets a little bit, and there's a small stone figure.
Okay.
He takes out his grandmother gave me this. I don't know much of what it means, but this is how I only know some words, the old language. We all speak this proper common now. There's nothing around from the old except the stories.
You can see some ire come up in her eyes, some old school ire, and then it's quickly replaced by the exhaustion and the self defeatism that has kind of gripped her for the last however long she's been out here. And then she goes, takes a deep breath and goes, well, that's how it is with a nation that wants to save another. The price is they get to own you like land. And then she just keeps on walking. She's like, we're almost there. You end up kind of cresting out into like a valley at the base of the mountain. You take a second to look up at the mountain before you, and it's how high up you were to where you are now, and just that in itself is a feat by itself. You guys end up at this huge kind of flowing river at the base of the mountain. This river is flowing really heavy right now because of all the snow, because it's a sunny day and it's melting, kind of coming into the river a little bit. And it's just this thriving kind of like river community, river clan. It stretches out for about a mile of just like, I mean, they're still very primitive because you're still in the Northlands, but, you know, wood and stone huts and stuff, and like a proper medieval village. It is, however, at this time, though, that a small ADF ship flies overhead, kind of surprising everybody, and slowly kind of descends towards the edge of the city in front of you. You're about 200 yards out of the city. And then V just kind of looks at you and goes, looks like the tax man's ride is here.
Gerald's actually distracted, because he hasn't seen a mountain before. Like, we landed at night in the middle of a snowstorm. We don't have these
Right.
around. We have, like, plateaus. This is like...
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's like... It's like a whole city, but it's up.
Yes.
It's up. Was very distracted. It was just... Oh, yes, you did say this is a new, this is a bustling place. Has Gerald even seen an ADF ship before?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Just coming and going from coming into the ADF, basically.
I think he's only seen the one.
Okay. All right. Well,
Wow.
it's still...
It definitely doesn't... It definitely looks... It would
Yeah.
probably be a similar shape.
Yeah. Hearth Collective look very like new, sleek. They're the fanciest of all of the ships. The ADF are, you know, I hate to make a Star Trek reference, but I would say that the Hearth Collective are much more like Federation type ships, not in the design, but in the smoothness and whatnot. Whereas your ADF are much more Klingon, like hard lines, kind of a little bit more clunkier. They look like they're a little bit older models, built more for fighting than necessary for like whatever. You know what I mean?
It does also probably say ADF on the side.
Definitely says ADF
you know,
on the side,
It's
without a
literally,
doubt.
oh yeah, ships. Oh, it's one of those ships.
V just kind of looks at you, extends her hand, and she goes, I'm not going anywhere near that thing. So this is where I leave you.
No, thank you.
She's like, I'm sorry, I can't walk you there. A wanted criminal in the Raji theocracy is a wanted criminal with the ADF.
Oh,
Oh, no.
that's complicated. Oh no.
Kid.
Actually, and Gerald's gonna give her the stone idol.
Oh.
Here, I think it's. I know I'm slipping into these ways, but it's all I know is for your help, and and for taking care of us. I hope this can bring you some luck, and or maybe a reminder of other people's.
She takes it, kind of looks at you and goes, "Okay. I appreciate that. It's a pleasure knowing you, Gerald Abrego."
And not you, please. Keep taking care of these folks, and I hope you can see a warm sun again.
Same here. I think we're probably gonna end it there because Phil's kid woke up and they left. And it is 11:05 already. We did get started a little bit late, but we got some good role playing in. I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we'll wrap there. I wanted to get everybody just a little bit further, but we'll do it next time. It's totally fine. So with that said, I got to give everybody a chance to plug. Aether, what would you like to plug, sir?
I've been doing work stuff, so I don't really have anything major to plug. Thanks for tuning back in, and there are many other shows that will be introduced shortly. Please keep enjoying them.
Yes. Aether is going to be doing a few things with us, gaming wise, and we are hard at work recording a season of a show that I think is going to be truly something special when it's all done, honestly. And then he's back. I was gonna do his plugs for him. Hey, we're wrapping the show, man. So
sorry.
No, you're fine. I saw you put the finger up. It's already 11:06. I was gonna call a little bit early tonight anyway, so I think we're good. What would you like to plug, sir?
Really, all I got going on right now is this and TMNT and Other Strangeness. And also check out Baldur's Gate 3.3.0.
I love that it's like all I got going on is 3 completely different shows. just 3 shows on here. Alfred, Wizard's Respite, what would you like to plug, sir?
As always, Wizard's Respite, the blog I run, that's all of these will actually be posted on wizardsrespite.com. It also dives into all of things TTRPG, such as game tips and industry news, that kind of stuff. Also, just a little bit of a hint, we are working on a new project that should be coming out in the next few months. It's got some gothic horror elements to it. It's going to be really fun and dark. Zach and I are putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
Really definitely want to start hyping that up quite a bit, because I think if you like gothic horror at all, I think this is going to be right up your alley.
I really do. I really think so. I was actually going to plug that myself as well. Ordo Scriptorium, we do not have a release date, but we have the complete rough draft all written up, and we are in the editing process, as well as some playtesting that has already started. So that'll be another show for you all to look forward to, which means I'm tired. But yeah, it's been a really fun Wizard. You've been a wonderful partner through the whole process, and I think people are really going to be excited. It is not like a game that I've ever written before, which I'm really proud of that, honestly. And for that game, though, you will need to purchase single mod, the game that is played here. This is what we play this game on. And that single mod, you can go to itch.io. It's only $6. Yeah, get the game. Tell me what you think. Not only that, I also promise that any revisions to this game you will get for free in the future if you pay that $6, because we are already always working on the game. I already added an updated rules once. I've already come up with some more rules that I kind of want to change. So it is going to be a living game as the years go on. Other than that, we do have a lot of stuff in the works on the TTRPG side, but since Wiz forgot, I'm going to plug it. This Friday, we have a new episode of Wizard's Respite Sanctorum going up. Please check that out. We finally do World of Darkness, and I think I'm going to get added quite a bit. So it should be it should be a fun show to check out. So if you're a TTRPG person, please check that out. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you to my players for playing. We will be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Astral Drive and all the insanity that this game creates. And yeah, you can also reach us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord, links in the description below. Influence this and all of our shows from there. You can also go to wizardsrespite.com, buy one of his shirts. They're cool, trust me. And then, as long as you keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. See you guys next time.
Later.
All right.